Welcome to the Do It All Dad, your podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. Controlling our kids through comedy can make our kids great again. And this is episode 60. No, he's my daddy. This is my impersonation of Bill Maher talking down to a Latino Republican on Real Time on HBO. This is his guest. The wall is more than symbolic, Bill. And this is Bill Maher. Wait a minute, Juan. What do Latino Republicans know about Pink Floyd The Wall? I thought you guys skipped your Santana pothead phase in college altogether. Henry Ford blamed the Jewish German bankers for starting World War II. He also accepted the Grand Cross of the German Eagle from the Nazis just to assuage his feelings for his peace ship conference going nowhere. Some model plan B, Henry. Ha! Rashida Tlaib. She is the new representative from Michigan, the Palestinian. She was, I love it when people said that she was just matching Trump's foul-mouthed smack talk. No, she wasn't. Because we're going to impeach that mother effer is low IQ fake news funny. Good to know Kid Rock country is under Sharia law now, though. Schumer. Awful representation of my people. Schumer. Add that to Harvey Here Comes Weinstein. Schumer. Insisting Trump is the one throwing a temper tantrum is like Rob Reiner telling the new PLL rep from Michigan to take a chill pill. Enough with Trump chose fear. Denture breath Pelosi. Trump didn't fabricate avoidable rape, assault, and murder, but making California a sanctuary for encouraged lawlessness gives you the moral high ground. Denture breath. What's there to be skeptical about? More Americans will die this year from drugs than all the Americans who died from Vietnam. But baby boomers don't feel the need to politicize this issue, despite their kids being druggy dependents for life. What's a Democratic noble purpose exactly? Ensuring a park ranger at Yosemite doesn't miss another check? Or is it rigging more elections through illegal voting so they can stay in power and longer because they're power-hungry parasites? We can secure our border by other means. How so, Chuck? You got some Iron Man armor to sell Border Patrol? Perhaps a clone of Green Lantern's ring to create a green laser fence in place of steel slats? You're still down with clones, aren't you, pal? The worst part about blaming the rise of Trump on Fox News is it scoffs at the notion of America voting for a regime change after Obama castrated our military, declared war on cops, nuke-gifted Iran, and let heroin spread like wildfire on his watch. Fact is, Democrats will never win another election in this country if they don't stop treating Fox News like the big bad wolf. Hannity is a blimpy blowhard in a suit, and Tucker is a preppy, grating twerp with good hair. Get over it. When your parents are cool spending another indoor summer in Arizona away from their 3 grandchildren for 4 years straight, bordering on almost full-blown neglect, it's safe to say they're not suffering from family separation anxiety. It's my wife. I love school delays. This is me. Of course you do. It gives you an out for being in zero rush to read my second piece republished on the Good Men Project this week. My kids love the show Little Bear. Huge fan. Definitely perpetuates their age of innocence. This is the mama of Little Bear. This is my premise involving the mama from Little Bear. The mama of Little Bear, it's on Nickelodeon and Amazon Prime. You're welcome. The mama of Little Bear would love to give her son Little Bear melatonin bear gummies if she could, so she could squeeze in another steamy romance novel before bed with Fabio as the voice of Smokey Robinson, Bear, whenever Papa's Bear on a fishing trip in Alaska. Again, What I've done with Little Bear is primarily about Little Bear being obsessive of being abandoned by his father. Awake or asleep, he just imagines being reunited with his dad. But kids need mom around more. So Little Bear is Roger Waters in the Wall, is my long-winded point that I wanted to make here. This is called But You Use Good Ingredients. But you use good ingredients means you only think you're interesting because you're an exceptionally good blow. But you use good ingredients means anyone can produce a serviceable product on your budget, pinstripe puck. But you use good ingredients means you're only as good as your performing enhancing flavors. But you use good ingredients implies even the drummer from Def Leppard can make it good with his left foot. But you use good ingredients means Michelle Obama couldn't F it up. I don't care how many bitter greens she rammed into her. But you use good ingredients says, I don't trust your cooking instincts enough to improvise like John Leguizamo. Can I get a holla for some holla? But you use good ingredients implies your prospects at getting on Top Chef is below Sylvia Plath scoring a job as a repairwoman for Viking stoves. That's for you, Judy. But you use good ingredients says, of course, Scary Spice looks better sprinkled with specks of gold from head to toe. But you use good ingredients means you've got no natural feel for a high-end recipe creation without being dependent on Mario Batali Cliff Notes, the iPad. But you use good ingredients screams, I could sound like a dignified, wise-ass flake of no substance with Obama's speechwriters at my beck and call also. Can I get another holla for some holla? But you use good ingredients says, I don't respect your innate feel for coaxing maximum flavor from served veggie ingredients like armpit sweat in place of cold-pressed olive oil. But you use good ingredients says, I still don't see you rising to the challenge of baking a pomegranate souffle without it looking like Grimace sat on top of it after a bad case of the runs. But you use good ingredients says, adding truffles on it is like putting lipstick on a pig. You're welcome, Sarah Palin. Your analogy finally makes sense after all. The end. Hope you enjoyed that, folks. It's going to be an inclusion in my follow-up book, The Stay-at-Home Comedian, my parenting memoir humor book, how my 3 kids got my act together. The follow-up book to that, Literary Agents at Large, will be Crazy Good Data. Pescatarian diet plus heaps of funny equals one happy family. Family meal reviews deconstructed, one rant at a time. Tonight, actually, we're going to be performing a first installment of Crazy Good Data, our family meal review show. And it's going to be a funny bit called Slaying Tofu the Terrible. And something to look forward to. And I think you're really going to love the way that we wrap up each segment. Don't want to blow my entire load just yet. So something to look forward to on the Do It All Dad YouTube channel. So, No, He's My Daddy is the name of episode 60 for the Do It All Dad Year podcast. It's in honor of my son, Archo USA, who just turned 5. And I wrote this for him because he's the one time I'm tucking in his sister, and he was getting jealous of all the fun I was having with like his big sister Matilda. All of a sudden they started claiming ownership rights of Do It All Dad over here. And my son said, no, he's my daddy. No, he's my daddy. So it felt great, being the stimulant behind so much despair that I was sowing between my 2 beautiful offspring. At this point in time, I think Samuel was asleep. I don't know where the hell he was. But I do have 3 in total. So no, he's my daddy. My 4-year-old son, Archo USA, was born on New Year's Day. So he'll never be hard-pressed to recruit boys out on his birthday. Before the inevitable last-minute desperate dash toward whatever non-hoarder around muff in attendance. My son's real name in total is Arthur Morrison Kornbluth. Your move, Judd Apatow. That's right. You were blessed with two overly heady, nerdy girls. Google Death was funny, though. Albert Brooks saved This Is 40 from being passable as a comedy film. Woody. There's Really Funny and Judd Apatow. So my son's name, Arthur Morrison Kornbluth, is fitting because he was born in the true spirit of FU parental rebellion. After my dad urged me to refrain from having more after my first Matilda, enjoy more Indian summers in Arizona without his pops. Arthur was the only planned baby of my three, but certainly not in the wholesome, loving sense. Again, my dad says on my birthday, don't have a second kid. I can't afford it. Later that night, I pulverized my wife's vagina. 2 hours later, now Archer USA is 5 years old. The Archer USA was the easiest birth ever, and he's been a dreamboat existence ever since. He slipped out of mama easier than I do from behind her doggy style 3 kids later. Paging Doc Hollywood, vag tighten up in aisle 1. I don't think HR directors are going to listen to my podcast. I really need to be an Arthur. A book Arthur. These jokes are too good. I can't not deliver them to the universe. God did not make me write these jokes so they could be shouted at on Twitter and have you guys being denied the privilege of receiving them. End the story. After I had my son Arthur, I remember my dad saying, coaching in basketball is a great memory of mine. Strangling my self-esteem like a non-touchy-feely Bobby Knight by calling me a soft pussy constantly did wonders for my self-esteem also, Pops. No, he's my daddy, screams. I'll be in no rush to join a fraternity to prove my manhood to strangers in baseball hats. We can't wait to exact revenge on pledges because they wanted easy access to fresh, up-the-press puss. Can I get a holla for some holla? No, he's my daddy means he doesn't give me middling, less slovenly, sloppy seconds treatment compared to virtual grandparents on both sides of the bare minimum grandparents divide. Can I get another holla for some holla? When Arthur and Matilda fought over this doodle dad's ownership rights as I tucked them both in, by each one outpronouncing each other, saying, no, he's my daddy. No, he's my daddy. No, he's my daddy. I felt like Hugh Hefner minus the mansion, sex life, and cashmere slippers. It's very flattering to have your 2 kids fight over ownership rights of you. No, he's my daddy. No, he's my daddy. I think it's safe to say I don't have a future Magic Mike or Girl from the Fallen Angel video on my hands just yet either. To hear my son say, no, he's my daddy, screams, back off, big sis. I hate girls being first. I don't care what NPR says. The end. This is a shadow ban reality test. I swear, Doodle Dad listeners, there'll be no more mentioning of being shadow banned, and I'm not going to mention Twitter, because then I'm just going to sound like this, like every other conservative or any other Trump supporter, like Bill Mitchell, the ex-executive recruiter, complaining about he gets all these impressions, he hasn't been able to get new followers. It's like so petty. It's like, who cares? Make me laugh once and I'll care. I feel so sleazy for like paying attention to him talking about. It's true. I felt so sleazy for listening to that guy Bill Mitchell, for following his tweets for as long as I did. He just has this that yucky sort of feel. And I can't really completely embrace a guy that like never drinks at all whatsoever. I mean, I'm only giving up beer over here, so I can dunk in about a month, and understand on the back cover of Stay On Comedian, I'm going to be dunking a basketball. I'm also sending a Sierra Nevada Torpedo IPA, blows all the IPAs out of the water. So, this is going to be a lifetime expunging of IPAs, because I love my IPAs, but I do like, who am I quoting here? I'm quoting Georgia O'Keeffe. She says that if you can't deny something you love for 2 months, you have no strength to couch at all whatsoever. So we're doing that with the beer. So I'm looking forward to dunking with resounding authority in Arizona soon enough. So we're almost there. But yeah, leave it to Bill Mitchell. Like the yucky. Why do I call him yucky? He's yucky. There's no way he tastes good. Add him to that. I add him to that. What Jeff Bezos list for that matter. This is my shadow ban reality test. Okay, so this is basically like a best of from like 2018 of one-liners that I won't be doing in Manhattan tonight, and I will put this chapter in my book, Stay Down Comedian, but it's a collection of really primo one-liners that basically covers who's who or whatever happened last year of any importance. So here we go. Shadow ban reality test. Shadow banning is realer than being blinded by Louis C.K.'s Jupiter sunspots on his ball sack backstage in his dressing room at Carnegie Hall. Shadow banning is realer than Woody Allen's stash of Sun Yi's best of time life photos stashed away in his top sock drawer to tap for new film idea inspiration, I'm sure. Can I get another holla for some holla? Shadow banning is realer than fake news calling Stormy Daniels a porn star. That's like calling Lexington Steele a sideline freak. Shadow banning is realer than transgender Father's Day pleas for recognition. Either you're an involved dad or you aren't, nipple tits. I thought getting shafted wouldn't be such a shock to your system anymore either. Can I get another holla for some holla? Shadow banning is realer than Chuck D's lyrics, assuming you can't get past the fact that he came from an upper middle class suburb in yet the country, Long Island. Shadow banning is realer than Chris Matthews sexually harassing his new intern at MSNBC. Eating out Maddow counts as your lunch break, babe. Shadow banning is realer than hate speech claims by Facebook and Twitter used to justify the blockage of joke-shredded truth bombs, revealing what divisive garbage the media spoon feeds to mush-brain baby boomers for a living. Can I get another holla for some holla? Shadow banning is realer than Trump's campaign slogan not being, let's make Nazi Germany great again. Shadow banning is realer than reruns of Roseanne having been replaced by reruns of The Cosby Show and commercials for Ambien in heavy rotation. Shadow banning is realer than Russell Simmons denying all rape allegations against him. Read my lisp. I never raped any of those vengeful, over-the-hill hoes. Shadow banning is realer than Bill Simmons' holier-than-thou kumquat smirk, which screams, I exude 0.0 gravitas off the page. So much for being in a nice leather chair in HBO, being a game-changer difference maker. Shadow banning is realer than stay-at-home mom school cafeteria bans in Darien, Connecticut. I guess mommy blogger meetups have limited appeal after all. Shadow banning is realer than Trump-passed drug reform. African Americans got 99 problems, but reduced prison sentences for first-time drug offenders now isn't one of them. Shadow banning is realer than claims of Bill de Blasio turning his wife straight, like garlic breath converted her. He eats pizza with a fork and knife. Can you really picture Big Bird bury his beak into a bean pie with such sloppy, reckless abandon? Shadow banning is realer than J.K. Rowling writing Harry Potter without the assistance of a ghostwriter. Being homeless one second and hit novelist the next, do her Oxford wizard type seem like barfly Bukowski material to you? Did he achieve literary glory with? Shadow banning is realer than Kathy Griffin ruining Fashion Police before looking like trans Chucky and Skin Clifford had a baby. Joan lives. Shadow banning is realer than $1.5 billion given to Iran to make the economy less dependent on the sale of rugs and hair removal products for the Kardashians. Shadow banning is realer than De Niro acting smart left to his own faculties without Marty at his disposal. Shadow banning is realer than calls to ban ICE because Homeland Security is so weapons of mass destruction years. Shadow banning is realer than Kate Spade's most passive-aggressive suicide note ever. It's not your fault. Dad will explain. Dad screams, explain what? I'm the one you couldn't live with? What a bag of shit, Kate! Shadow banning is realer than Keith Ellison's borders are bullshit t-shirt Kwanzaa gifts for staffers at the DNC. Can I get another holla for some holla? Shadow banning is realer than Obama crying over his torn up Iran deal. At least the New York Times op-ed section is a shoulder to cry on. Facebook is the surrogate loving dad for Obama who hasn't bailed on him yet. Shadow banning is realer than LeBron getting the idea to wear a cast after Michelle threatened to break her arm up in Obama's crack if he ever offered Paul Newman's lemonade to Beyonce over her prize homemade kombucha. Shadow banning is realer than Jeffrey Tambor getting fired from Transparent, blasting his co-star for pissing on the toilet seat in his trailer. Real ladylike. Now get out of my trailer, you butchy bitch. Hey now. Shadow banning is realer than stay-at-home dads feeling like full-time welfare mothers until we become the bigger earners. And then I'm going to buy this town and put it all in my shoe. It's what I'm going to do. It's what I'm going to do. Jimmy lives. That being Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix Blues. Check it out on Spotify tonight. You're welcome. Shadow banning is realer than my gap years on my LinkedIn resume, making me searchable under popular searches such as Homemaker. My podcast post on LinkedIn, raising my kids on Adderall, must have been a dead giveaway. This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me, controlling kids to comedy, can make our kids great again. No, he's my daddy. Any sort of shout out in dad's honor is always very touching, but what's even more touching is the opportunity to grow closer with 3 kids that can't get enough of this Do It All Dad so far, and I plan on making myself as funnier and more interesting and of greater value as far as being that big time baller, so we can really start celebrating some wins and get out of the house more often and get you guys into the habit of dreaming as big as humanly possible, because like I said, God gave you everything. Arthur, Matilda, Samuel, God gave you brains, he gave you funny, he gave you heart, he gave you sweetness, he gave you looks. You were born to be leaders, you were born to empower others, and you were born to help unearth the latent strengths of others. And so again, God gave the universe, so don't be an asshole about it. I'll talk to you guys soon.